Welcome to Mr. Smith and Brother Blues In, the Between Cousins show. I'm Mr. Smith.
And I'm Brother Blues In. And on today's show, I'm going to actually go over the metal element. Um, Previously, we did the five elements and went over all the five elements, and also did a video on the meridians. I did not go in depth into anything specific as far as the individual meridians, but kind of give you an idea of how the meridians work with the body and how they work with your emotions and stuff like that. And so, right now, what I want to do is focus specifically on metal. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Go ahead and share, because sharing is caring. Right. All right. The metal element is associated with the fall season. So this is just you saw this little chart on the element video. Basically the different environments and stuff like that. I'm not going to go over that. What I wanted to kind of discuss more with the metal is the how it interacts with fall. So like it basically the external wind, cold, damp, and dry climate of the fall interferes with the proper functions of the lungs and the large intestine. So keeping the moisture is the key part of, or should I say, the key part aspect of the lungs and large intestines. Intestine function can be adversely affected by the autumn weather, right? Because you got the external wind, you got cold, it's kind of damp, but yet at the same time it's still dry. Um, how you get those two together at the same time, that's kind of it's always a mystery in the fall. But it is a definitely how the fall or autumn is, because leaves start to die, plants start to not necessarily die, but everything kind of falls away because you think about it, it's about letting go. That's the theme. The influence of taste, color, and sound when it comes to metal. So the metal element again is the lungs and large intestine. Those are the organs. So lungs are the yin organ, and the large intestine is the yang organ. And we'll discuss that a little bit more as we get further into the presentation. The taste is pungent, so the pungent taste of garlic, green onions, etc., can be used to tonify both the lungs and large intestine. But you got to remember, excessive consumption can actually weaken them. So we were kind of in one of the other videos we were discussing, like exercise. It's like exercise is good, but too much exercise actually weakens you, right? So it's the same thing with the foods we eat. Um, sure, you know, what you call it, what's a good one, like vitamin D is great for you, but too much of it is like your body's just going to get rid of it, or maybe your body can't even process it and maybe stores it. Same thing with food. Too much food, the right amount of food nourishes the body. Too much food causes bloating in the body. um that's simple. Certain types of food. The color of white. So the color for metal is white. That's kind of an association with it. Now white can be used to tonify metal element. Wearing white, having let me see, having just tones of white, especially if you're dealing with a lot of anxiety, you're dealing with like kind of I don't know if depression and stuff like that. White can actually kind of clear and kind of tonify some of that stuff. And then the sound spoke focus on is the hiss, and it may be used to sedate the metal element, and we'll look at that at the end. Well, I'll go over a little exercise we can do and actually use the actual healing sound with it. Now, the lung is the metal yin meridian. Its theme is for strengthening and clearing. So the function of the lung is to regulate qi absorbed from the outside world and distribute it through the body. So you breathe in qi, breathe in air, oxygen, and everything, minerals, and it distributes it throughout the body. It controls breathing and distributing oxygen to the blood, helping circulation. It's a detox organ and probably one of the largest detox organs of the body, and it rules the skin and the sweat glands. Regulates protective Wei Qi. We talked about that in the Meridian video. Sinuses, bronchia, nose, throat, voice, and the ability to smell and to speak with a clear voice. It generates the emotions of grief as well as the opposite, the wisdom of understanding and significance. And this is just the meridian. I've kind of displayed it. Displayed this on other videos. The lung one starts right there and goes up to lung 2 and then comes down the arm all the way to the inside of the thumb. So a deficient metal would deal with depression, sadness, sedentary life, repressed emotions, repressed sensuality, and catches colds easily. Now, an excess metal, or should I say excess metal for a lung, would be sore throat, cough, anxiety, excessively eating greasy or spicy foods. And this is you're craving this stuff, right? And excessively drinking alcohol and or smoking, and asthma. That is when metal is in excess, at least from a yin perspective. Now, consciousness and emotional issues that you could deal with, and this is just more when I say that these issues, it's more of when you're out of balance, when the metal, should I say, the yin metal element is out of balance. It may be more, you may be more yang at some point versus a yin. Is you might deal with some grief, letting go, release, being able to surrender, vulnerability, feeling accepted, receiving from others, manifesting, having manifestation issues, being reactive or responsive or non-responsive, right? Having courage, communication, justice, feeling of suffocating. I mean, you think about the lungs as like, I mean, that's what we use to breathe in oxygen with. Control, and it actually can deal with some vitality issues as well. So what promotes positive lung health? So breathing in clean air, good water and hydration, staying hydrated, qigong. There's some different protocols we use for qigong. Strong protective wei qi field, and then having stable family upbringing. What promotes negative lung health? Grief, self-rejection, dryness, and sweets and sugar. So too much sweets and sugar can actually cause, or should I say, promote negative lung health. Way of self-balancing. Let's see, I don't want to do this. So I guess I can actually just display this real quick. So let me stop sharing. So I'll actually go over this real quick. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to massage lung 1 is one way where you just basically, and then what I'll do is I'll go over this real quick and then I'll stand up and I'll go through it with you. So you want to massage lung 1. So like basically what this does is it's a collecting point for all the energy of the lungs. Massage both sides with the middle finger for about 10 seconds, breathing deeply. This nourishes the respiratory passages, heart, spleen, and the brain. It dissolves grease and sadness, and it also moves the lung energy to the kidneys to distribute qi throughout the body. The second way of self-balancing is tapping lung 1 and lung 11. So lung 1, and again, I'll display this here in a minute. You tap lung 1, kind of like NFT, and then tapping lung 11, which is the end of the meridian endpoint, which is on the end of the thumb, on the inside of the thumb, and then flushing the meridian, which I discussed in the meridian video, where you're basically going to trace this meridian backwards. So from lung 11 to lung 1 once, and then you're going to trace it back from lung 1 to lung 11 3 times. So let me stop sharing and then go into change the video real quick. All right. Okay. For some reason. So we're looking at, so massaging lung 1. So again, lung 1 is right here. So you have it's the collarbone or clavicle. And so you get the top of the clavicle and you come down and you got lung 1. So what you're going to do, and it might be tender. It can be tender sometimes. And you're just going to massage them, like this one on my side is tender on this side. And just massage it for 10 seconds. You get the middle finger, or you can do all fingers, or you can tap it, right? Just massage it until it no longer hurts. If there is tenderness, just massage it, lightly massage it, or you can massage a little bit deeper. And until it goes away. Now the second one is tapping. So you're going to tap lung 1. Just kind of tap it. Breathing in. And breathing out. Let's do one to the other side. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then you want to get it on the finger, so it comes to the inside of the thumb. So you're going to tap. Breathing in. And breathing out. Get the other side. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then the last one is actually flushing the meridian. So because the meridian flows from lung 1, comes up, comes down the inside of the arm to the thumb, what we're going to do is we're going to trace it backwards. 1 time. And then we're going to trace it forward 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And you don't have to be exact. You just, it knows, the body knows what it's doing. Same thing on the other side. Up to lung 1, and then trace it back down. 1, 2, and 3. All right, back to the camera. So we'll discuss that a little bit more afterwards. Let me get back to the presentation. All right. So now we jump into the large intestine. The large intestine theme is letting go of what's no longer needed or what's not needed. What the large intestine does is it transports all, or should I say the meridian does, is transports all turbidity, all waste products go through it. So it absorbs liquids and releases anything that is no longer needed in the way of food, toxins, emotions, and thereby cleansing the body, mind, and spirit. An imbalance in the large intestine can cause physical weakness or emotional introversion, accompanied by feelings of depression, irritability, discouragement, distress, and apathy. As you can see, so this meridian actually runs, it's a yang meridian, and it runs from the tip of the, should I say the tip of the, or should I say the nail on the index finger, and it comes all the way up the outside of the arm, the elbow, comes up the shoulder, and then once it gets over the shoulder, it actually goes to the back. There's a spot on the back, as you can see right here, lung 16, and then comes back over to the front of the collarbone and then comes up and goes across the should I say, over the lip and comes across to the other side, the opposite side of the nose. So deficient mental energy when it comes to large intestine is you have a lack of energy, kind of describe that, slow metabolism, weight gain, thinning hair and hair loss, stubbornness, bottling up emotions, diseases such as colitis, constipation, diarrhea, and diverticulosis or diverticulitis. Excess metal can cause a sore throat, swollen gums, foul breath, acidic body pH, accumulated mucus, bloating, inflammation, confusion, and control issues. Consciousness and emotional issues when it comes to large intestine. Not being able to let go or letting go. Releasing, grief, self-poisoning, control, whether it's controlling others or having personal self-control, stubbornness, compulsiveness, confusion pops in, rigidity, guilt. I mean, this time of year, it's like a lot of people One thing, if you notice during the fall, is I can't say there's a lot of deaths, but there are a lot of people that just let go this time of the year, um, because that's what's going on. I mean, this is the time of year for that. Regret, and then there's also hanging on. Sometimes you hang on to stuff that you no longer need, and that's where it comes in. It's like you're having a trouble letting go. Um, you're having trouble grieving, because grieving is basically whenever you have to let something go, is like you go through a grieving process. It doesn't matter whether you're changing jobs or you're letting go of someone passed away, or you're in a relationship and you have to let that relationship go, right? It's like that you have to grieve that process. Any change requires grieving. um, some things are easier to grieve, other things are not so easy to grieve. Now, what promotes positive large intestine health? So drinking plenty of clean water, chewing food completely down to a liquid, which is not always an easy thing to do. Qigong, yoga, and meditation. Release the old and accepting the new. Expressing your emotions, including crying, so allowing yourself to cry. An alkaline diet of fresh vegetables, lightly cooked in steam, and then avoid sugar. And I always throw that on there. It's like, again, your diet is as a grain of salt. I mean, just take it as a grain of salt. It's like, eat sugar is fine because there are some positivities of sugar, but overdoing sugar is definitely not good for the large intestine. What promotes negative large intestine health? Dehydration, cold beverages, and alcohol. Um, we tend to like to want to drink cold beverages all the time, even in the wintertime. Um, I recommend doing, heating up beverage, or if you're going to do water, doing it at room temperature during the winter. Sedentary lifestyle or having a stagnant job. Gulping down meals or poorly chewed foods. So it makes it hard for the large intestine to actually digest this stuff. Dairy except yogurt, sugar and sweets. Gluten, wheat, GMO foods, refined or processed foods. Excess raw fruits, raw vegetables, mushrooms, and peppers. Yeast, excess vinegar, and then fatty, greasy, and deep fried foods. I know I love my fried foods. Sometimes there's no way. Sometimes there's certain foods that just taste better that way. You just can't eat them.
Are few and far between. Yep.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's like, so here's how you can self-balance large intestine meridian. So large intestine 14. So this one is actually a cool one because well, we'll go into it here, but it's this point right here on the hand. I always like doing this trick with people when they say they got a headache, and I'm like, oh, here, let me see your hand, and I'll squeeze that, and it hurts like hell, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, my headache's gone, right? It's like it really does work. But what you do is you want to pinch this point with your thumb and middle finger uh, of the opposite hand and massage for about 10 seconds. What it does is it relieves pain and clears stagnation by increasing the flow of qi through all the meridians. So this point also relieves headaches, neck aches, tooth aches, eye pain, sore throat, nasal obstruction, abdominal pain, and constipation. I know I'll wake up some nights, like I'll wake up in the morning and I'm stuffy. And what I'll do is I'll start to actually just massage that point. And what I find is that point is actually really tender, and I'll just kind of massage it. And then as I'm massaging it, I notice that my nose actually loosens up. Everything kind of loosens up. So it does actually help very, very well. Let me see, the other ways of working with this sub-balancing is tapping the beginning and the end point. So it'd be like tapping LI1 or liver or large intestine 1, and then tapping large intestine 20. And then flushing the meridian by tracing from large intestine 20 to large intestine 1, and then tracing it back to large intestine 1, or from large intestine 1 to large intestine 20 3 times. So let me stop sharing that and then change my camera view. Oh, sorry. To the other camera. Go. Get that. All right. So large intestine self-balancing. Hopefully the mic, I just leave the mic here. So talk about that point on the hand. So it is actually right in this area right here. Now the whole hand might be tight. Like you may actually find where it's like, I found where there's like a big knot here. And it may not be so tender, but it's just a big knot. I have to work out a knot in this area. But all you want to do is just this side, and you're just massaging that point. What I normally will do is I'll follow the pain. Right now I don't have any pain, but like say it's more tender up here, and I'll kind of follow the pain and just massage through both sides, both this finger, both the thumb and the what you call it, and the lung, or should I say lung and the large intestine and the index finger, sorry, and just massage it. So I don't know if you feel any tenderness.
Mine's not super tender, but a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So now this side I feel some tenderness actually in here.
I feel some tightness in my left one.
Yeah. So you just want to massage it out, and all of a sudden, oh, guess what? Now I can breathe.
Ah.
I did have my son one time was complaining about he was having stomach aches. And so what I did, I was like, I just grabbed his finger and it was super tight and I squeezed it and he immediately had to go take a dump. This actually helps with constipation. Like he went and he dropped a load. It was interesting. I wasn't expecting that. I was just expecting to help with his, clear his breathing and stuff and feeling a little bit better. But it definitely works. So it's definitely a good point, that you can do some self-care for yourself if you're feeling that point. All right, so the next way to work with this is the tapping. So you want to start off with large intestine 1. So just tapping the finger. And then large intestine 20. And you're just tapping. And so while you're tapping, you want to breathe in. And breathe it out. Do the same thing with the other side. Breathing in. And breathe it out. And do the breathing in and breathing out. I'm trying to think. Hold on real quick. Oh. All right, so let's get back to, I'm gonna leave this camera angle, but I want to share the presentation. So let's go ahead and continue to present. You got any questions, sir, while I'm setting the stuff back up?
Yeah. I was just gonna ask about is it next to the nose or on the cheek that you're tapping?
So it is actually right. It's kind of hard because it's in that general area, right?
Right.
Within that
Between the
general-
bottom of the nose on the side and
Yeah,
then your
let me
cheekbone itself.
change my camera view here so that I can show you. Actually, let me just stop sharing, right? So there's going to be just more in this area. So this is actually another area that you can massage.
Okay.
Hopefully you can see.
Yeah.
And it's another area you can massage. And you may find, like, if you say you have some nasal congestion, this is actually a really good area to massage as well.
Right.
Liver, large intestine 20. And you may find that it's tight or maybe soreness.
Uh-huh.
And this will actually open up the nasal passages as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because I always forget about that. And I use this one myself because I'll massage and I'm like, oh man, there's tenderness here. And I'm like, now I can breathe. Right. So yeah, that's a good call. Good call on that one, sir.
Yeah, not a problem.
Good question. All right. And then so from a Qigong perspective, so these are easy self-care ones that you can just do on your own. From a Qigong perspective, so we have the metal standing Qigong, which is called holding the golden Qi ball. And you basically stand using, it's called a 10 points of awareness. I probably won't go too deep into that today, but I will do another video where I teach the 10 points of awareness.
Okay.
Um, and then you're gonna hold the hands in front of you, bend the elbows slightly. Hold the hands as if you're holding a ball, and I'll stand up and I'll go over this with you, and then you're gonna breathe in, leading the breath up the outside of the arms, and then breathing out, leading the breath inside of the arms. And so you'll use like a specific type of music. So let me go ahead and stop sharing that. And we'll do this. So let me get your stance. Basically, like you're holding a ball right in front of you. You want to pretend like maybe you have like a golf ball or like an egg underneath your armpits, so that the armpits are not touching you. You're just holding this ball. And so you're going to stand here. And so you're going to breathe in, outside of the arms, breathing up to the shoulders. And then breathing out, the inside of the arms, going out to the hands. And so you're basically breathing out into this big chi ball. So breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. So normally you want to do this for 5 minutes. You want to stand there doing the breathing in, leading the air, just say your breath up the outside of the arms, and then breathing out into the hands. And you want to do that for about 5 minutes. And then let me go ahead and share. And then the other is the healing sound. So this is the hiss. So we're going to lift the hands, and I'll show you two different variations of how you can hold your hands above the head and the palms facing out. And then you're going to breathe, exhale, bringing the arms down to your side, and then breathing out with like a hiss. Let me go ahead and here we go. So now there's two different things you could do with your hands. So like for the Kung Fu studio I go to, the animal for metal is tiger. So you can do tiger claws, and you can do, bring the hands up with the tiger claws above your head. Camera doesn't see. When I pick up what I want. There we go. Okay. You do tiger claws, or what I like to do is keep these, the pinky finger, the fourth finger, ring finger, and then the middle finger as tiger claws, and then just make an L. And so you got large intestine and lungs, right? So you got the L, and the same thing. I like doing the L myself, but you're more than welcome to do tiger claws. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in and get legs shoulder length apart, breathing in, bring the hands above the head. And then as you breathe out, you're going to say hiss. You're going to be hiss. And if you really want to tonify, depending on how you want to, which organ you really want to work with, you could do a Z sound. So it would be the more like his. Now you do want to bring the arms behind you. So what you're doing here is you're pulling it back, and you're kind of compressing the lungs at the same time. So it'll be here. I'll do it this way. Breathing in. His. Breathing in. His. Let's go to get one more. Breathing in. And his. Oh, so much fun. Always feel like my everything is clear after doing all of that. I don't think there's anything else on the presentation, so we're good with the presentation. Yeah, any questions
No
Good.
questions right off the bat, but
or comments or
yeah, no questions, comments other than
thoughts?
thoughts. I think that's cool. I want to practice that some more and see. Definitely the thumb and the hand trick, with the different results that you can get from that. But yeah, I'll definitely try to incorporate more of these practices into my
Yeah,
daily
these
routine.
like I said, these are all things you can do on your own. Um, I know we have done a for your own protocol that I gave you. You know, we
Hmm.
did a meditation and we did a actual some energy balancing thing. So what we'll do this week is we'll actually do the full metal protocol because there is a golden chi ball protocol. And what we'll do is we'll incorporate the standing posture at the beginning.
Okay.
Um, but you could definitely do the healing sound on your own. And there's multiple ways of doing the healing sounds. Like we can
Hmm.
bring in there's an animal, and maybe later on I'll teach you a little bit deeper stuff into the the different protocols. But for now, I just wanted to give the viewers an idea of like, okay, this is what the metal element looks like.
Gotcha. Yeah,
So
but I enjoyed this the session and learning and all the different exercises that are available. So just be diving in deeper.
cool, 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 cool. So hopefully this helps you with your fall. I think we got about 4 more weeks of fall, and then we're jumping into winter season.
Okay.
So definitely this is the time of year to really start to tonify and getting the should I say the metal element stuff functioning better, right?
Right. Okay.
Functioning the balanced and functioning the way that we would like it for the fall, right? So that we don't get sick, our Wei Chi field is strong. That way we go into the winter, we can kind of flow into the winter because then at that point we're going to be looking at working with like the bones and bone marrow and activating that stuff. So there's a little different protocols that we do in the winter time that we don't really do in the fall.
Right. Okay.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming. I hope
Yep.
everyone enjoyed this. Leave some comments in the things if I missed anything. And again, I apologize. This is how I interpret stuff. Interpret this stuff from the way that I've learned it. There is no. In fact, let me change my camera because I'm sitting here talking and not even looking at the camera. There we go. Um, there is no this isn't like hard set like this. These are the only things that represent metal. This is what I've learned, and this is how I understand metal. And when I work with people, whether they're metal or whatever element they are, this is how I see it, and and it works for me. So I mean, if you have a different interpretation, I'd love to have the conversation because I love learning about this stuff and learning different things about it. Because to me, it's always not this or that. It's always both. It's always going to be both. There's always a positive, there's always a negative, there's always two different views, but both views are always valid, right? Depending on the application.
Right.
So, all
Hmm.
right, my man. I'm Brother
Yes, sir.
Blues, man.
Mr. Smith, thank you for watching and come see us again. Check us out.
Yes. And remember, always follow your Zen.